welcome. Accounting. I'm going to
640.
not say one of these times. It's like
No,
my
just keep saying it.
my
Just lean
crutch.
into it. Just lean into it.
Okay, we are here with Laura Zellers. This video is for students of Accounting 640, which is Principles of Auditing. We want to talk about what are some things that we can start thinking about when we. This is going to be one of the last classes for some of you, and so how do we approach this class? What's special about this class, and what should we be ready to do, whether you're in the online section or the in-person section? And Laura, you've been teaching this for a while. I'll be teaching the in-person section coming up here in the spring semester of 26. But Laura, would you unpack some of the things that an incoming Accounting 640 student should know?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. And there's my on the counter. So
We'll have a contest. Who says
yes,
more?
it will be an contest. So the thing is, first and foremost, auditing Accounting 640, one of my favorite courses to teach, one of my favorite courses I ever took. It is so interesting to me. It is not what I would consider to be your traditional accounting course. So that's going to be number one. You're not going to see all of the quantitative rules-based problems and exercises and things that we would work through in an intermediate or advanced financial accounting course or managerial accounting course or data analytics course. While all of those things are actually part of auditing, auditing in and of itself is just so conceptual in nature and has so many, and I'm trying not to use too many pithy points here, but so many areas for critical thinking and so many areas where there are 5 right answers. And you pick the one, and when I say you pick the one, you select the answer, and this is in practical auditing and in the course, and be able to justify it and document it. You can ask students of mine from 10, 15 years ago, they remember me saying document, document, document. Somebody should be able to pick up an audit work paper and know what you were looking at, what you were testing, and why, and what the result was. And I mean, at the end of the day, again, there could have been 5 different ways to do it. You chose this way. Here was why. Here was the result. So for those that are really looking for the black and white, it's not going to exist in many elements of auditing. But the gray is really fun to be in.
I was about to say
And
that that's kind of the fun part, right? In that,
yeah. And then I think you're talking to people on an audit team and you're having a difference of opinion and you talk it out, and that in and of itself is how the financial statements get better. That's how the audit itself gets better. So again, kind of first and foremost, as I will often say, put your calculator aside, and be ready to jump in, because it's also very discussion based, and there's going to be more documentaries, case studies, articles that we're reading. We get to actually bring in what I know, Jason, you and I have talked about. We consider some fun stuff that you can talk through and learn more about. So just embracing all of that. The last element would be, it is a lot of information. So I'm selling it. I love it, but it is still a lot. There are still rules and regulations that exist within the auditing world. You have to be very adept at GAAP. I mean, no question about that. And we're making the assumption that you all have learned that. That's why you're here now. But then we have our generally accepted auditing standards and the PCAOB, and as I like to say, our accounting world, we love a good acronym. So I won't rattle off anymore. I will say there are some challenges, if you will, if you don't stay on top of the material, where it's a lot of information.
And I think that's actually a good segue, Laura, to kind of my next place I want to
Yeah.
go with you, and that's preparation. So every class is a little bit different, things we got to do before we come in. One of the great fun things about audit class is that we've got these case studies, these things that we can talk about that can be counterpoints, but it can be a little less fun if people haven't read the material. So talk about some of the things that you need to be ready to have prepared when you come to class or when you enter into a discussion on the online side.
Yeah. Wonderful question. And first and foremost, and students who have had me before know that I always say this, there is no replacement for reading the chapter. We would not have a textbook if we didn't need it. I'll button that up right there. Read the chapter. There may be some things within the chapter you're not fully understanding. Good. That allows you to come to class or come to the online discussion board or whatnot, reach out to one of us and get that clarification and try to better understand. So reading the chapter is paramount because, well, for the reasons I've already said, and in general, again, just a lot of information happening. And when we're doing these other fun things, you still have to have that conceptual base that is underlying everything that we are doing. So read the chapter, really embrace the assignments. And what I mean by that is these assignments are going to look different than assignments you've had in most classes. Sometimes it is an article that you are reading and we're asking you to write a 2-page memo about it. We have an electronic confirmation.com assignment where you're going to be in some real life audit software. I mean, so these assignments are really varied in their nature, but get in those, embrace those, make sure you are taking them seriously. I'll leave that there.
And they're interesting cases too, right? I mean, we're not handing you these things that are just, test bank stuff. You've got good ones.
Right. And I'm glad you brought that up because the very interesting thing for me is, we don't make up any of them. These are real things that have happened. So the majority of these cases that anyone and everyone is going to be dealing with, it's actually happened. This is not Jason and I sitting around going, well, how can we illustrate this concept for our students? No, it's all out there. I mean, we've seen it play out in real time. I'm personally old enough that I lived through Enron. I worked in audit on both sides of the Enron debacle and all of these things. And I'm here to say there's a lot going on out there, but it is really nice that we can bring in these truly real world, real life examples. And little add-on, I think it's a great class for bringing in guest speakers, which I know we both will be doing in slightly different formats, but nonetheless, just hearing what their experiences are in the audit world. But I may be getting ahead of you.
No, not at all. And I think that's kind of the next and probably last place I want to go is, sometimes at this point in an intro, we're going to talk about how this class is getting you ready for the next step. This being a 600 level class, there may not be a next step. You may be stepping into your next job. And so talk about some of the kind of the final things, some takeaways that we can get from this course that would assist us as we're stepping into a corporate role or into an audit role or into a tax role. What are some things we can be doing in this class that'll get us ready for taking that next step?
Okay, another great question. And I'll backtrack just a second on that and say I know that many of the students, many of you all have already done some sort of an audit internship. And now you're in this class going, okay, wait, I've done this and here I am. use that to your advantage. Share your experiences in class, on the discussion boards, wherever, so when we are talking about determining materiality, raise your hand and say, yeah, that's not something I have had to do yet. Or, hey, I was knee deep in that. Whatever the case might be, let's leverage off of those who have had experience. And let me be very clear, if you haven't, that's fine too, because the balance is amazing. So that is a semi takeaway, if you will, that this really is kind of, if the accounting program had a capstone course, this is it. We are putting a bow on everything accounting undergrad wise. And those of you who have worked out there, whether it be private or public practice, this is your time to share and learn. And those who haven't, again, not a problem, but take advantage of the collaboration that you can have with your fellow classmates. So definitely that. And if you can ward off what we used to call back in the day, the senioritis, where you're just like, hey, I already have a job lined up. This is one of my last classes. I'm done. See you later. Try to ward that off as much as you can, because like I said, I think this is one of our better classes, not because of Jason and myself, but because of the content. It simply is important information that even if you don't go into audit, even if you decide accounting is for the birds and you're moving over here, the idea that we're getting into a company's financial statements, you're learning more and more about what the audit report actually means, what and where to go to find certain information. I think this ties very well into financial planning and some other really very personal things that, again, you can take with you. So those are some of the biggest takeaways. Try to stay as engaged as you can. We recognize the challenge in that when you're wrapping something up like an accounting degree, that's a big deal. And we want to be here to support you, but don't leave us too soon. Stick with it and understand that, currently we do have a group project in this course. Everybody's non-favorite, but it is so important because still in the audit world, everybody's working together. So we can say, oh, look at you guys remote side by side doing all. Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. And we're working together. This is like a group project right now. So that would be my final takeaway is don't get flustered or frustrated at the end where we're saying, and you're going to do this very interesting but basic group project. Kind of circle back to the idea that this is what you will likely be doing day in and day out at work, meaning not group projects day in and day out, but interacting with others and learning how all that goes. So those are my takeaways. I could probably have 15 more if you had, an hour for me. So
no, that's great. And thank you for that. Especially you guys who wind up coming out. There's going to be a few of you that come out into a firm and it is just one big group project week after week after week. And guess what? You don't get to pick your partners. You're going to get put with who you put with. And so that's going to be a huge exercise in being able to work in a group. So that group project really benefits you in ways that I think you're not even aware of sometimes as you're doing it. And so also, I'm going to add one more thing. Don't forget, your professor, Laura, has practiced as a CPA. I have as well. We can also add some context and some insight on these topics as well. If you ever have a question or anything about anything to do with your career or anything like that, Laura's always there. I'm always there. Absolutely ask us questions, collaborate with us any way you want to. Laura, thank you so much for taking time out to talk with me about this class. I put this one kind of in the same category as business law, right? It's very
Right.
situational, very case
Yep.
oriented, and a lot of interesting discussions we can have.
Right. And
Um,
yeah,
yeah,
I'm with you there, Jason. It again, I will never stop saying it's a lot of fun. And somebody could make a meme of me saying that if they want to. It is a lot of fun. This is where, I think accounting can really rise up. This is where we really differentiate between bookkeeping and true accounting. And I love it. It's great.
you
So,
got it. You got it. All right. Well, thanks again, Laura, and we'll talk to you again soon.